Maleny's own bakery cafe, baked here fresh daily. This is probably as good of any spot to start a walk and talk of this popular town in a region that I believe is called the hinterlands of the Sunshine Coast. At least I believe that's what it's called. It's called the hinterlands, and a lot of folks told me that you really got to go to Maleny. And if you're going to go to Maleny, you got to go to Mountville. Well, having just completed a walk and talk in Mountville, I find my way over here to the town of Maleny, and it is actually quite the contrast to Mountville. Whereas Mountville was more of a tourist town with just a lot of boutique galleries and various shops. This is just a full-on town here with a little bit of everything, and it is a rather popular spot. And if you're going to be coming to this part of Australia, then a lot of people will probably say that you got to go to Maleny, and if you do, maybe you got to stop here at Maleny's own bakery cafe. But I'm going to do a walk and talk and just share some of this city here with you. I see a young couple girls there that are having themselves some a bite to eat. Here is the Maleny Butchery, and quality meats, free-range grass and grain-fed organic beef that you can get. And speaking of beef, as I was driving in from Mountville here into Maleny, I was seeing a lot of grazing cattle out and about in the field. So I believe that this area has a lot of it probably has a lot of dairy and a lot of beef. Here is the Maleny pie guy. So if you want to come and grab yourself a pie, which is awful popular down here in Australia, this is probably a spot that you would want to go here. You can get a chunky steaky pie. You can get yourself a buffalo and bourbon pie, the steak pastry. Look at all of that stuff that you can grab. You can get a gluten-free feta and macadamia roll. Boy, all types of stuff. There's the roast vegan pastry right over there. Just some good stuff. So I'm just going to walk and talk like I always do, and just share some different information. Here is I think this is called a soap shop, if I'm not mistaken, and you would get that impression just by the smell walking past the front door. If you wanted to get yourself some nice soap and maybe a bathrobe as well. Really is a nice little town. And when I was stopping this morning to top off with some fuel, I asked the young lady at the fuel station, or I think they call it a petrol station down here. I said, if you were given the choice between spending a day in Maleny or spending a day in Mountville, which would you choose? As I share this painting with you that Sue Smith is probably anxious to see. See a nice little chicken there. Here's something that you might want hanging on your wall. Look at that. Wouldn't that look nice in your hallway? You're going to bed every night. A nice little green python. But this is a rather it's a rather artsy town, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Here is the Maleny men fashion and stuff that you can come and pick yourself up some various items that you might want to wear. This actually right here would be a good shirt for Skip Smith of the Villages, certified old fart. You know, that probably would be a good shirt to send Skipper. Or maybe this one might be better. Grumpy old bastard. You know, that might be a good one to send the Skipper. I give the skipper hard times from time to time, but I love the guy. Skip's an all-around nice guy. Here's the pathway going down to the restrooms, I'm assuming. Here you've got a PS Books store right here. I would imagine that this is a rather interesting video for people to watch, to see the contrast, particularly in this point in time and in our day and age, with everybody dealing with the global pandemic, to be able to see the contrast between a day in the life down here in the land down under, at least for now, and the life up in other places like the United States. Now here's a place that you'll see on the internet if you're doing a search of Maleny. It says Maleny Lane Garden Cafe, and they have not quite sure what they have in here, but we'll see if I can't kind of take a walk down and maybe share some of it with you. Let's see. A little bit of a well, look at this. So they have all types of little places that you can grab yourself a cup of coffee or something to eat. Boy, quite interesting. Here you can get yourself some sushi. This kind of reminds me of a little place that I came across when I was in Budapest. Kind of an interesting little area where you can come in and sit and have yourself a bite to eat. Looks like there's a little garden in the back there. Wonderful. All right. Quite a few people out and about, interestingly enough. As I walk through the crowds with my big camera, it's quite noticeable, to say the very least. Walking and talking with my camera. There's a interesting collection here of some little. Look at these. I don't know how well I can share those with you with the glare of the window, but there you have it. So this is not actually what I expected. I didn't expect this to be just a full-on city. This when I went to Mountville, I was expecting Maleny to be a lot like Mountville was, but regardless, it's still a nice little place. There is Sarah's Unplugged, rustic comfort food with a modern twist. As I cross the street, here's the Maleny News Agency. Something that I've become accustomed to seeing down here in Australia. You don't really see you see similar stores back in the United States, but with the actual verbiage or name news agency, you're not going to see that. But here's a picture that's really representative of the area here. Look at all of the cows. So that's kind of the scenery that I was looking at as I was driving into Maleny from Mountville. Very nice. The only places in Australia really that I haven't spent any time at all would be South Australia, Western Australia, and the Northern Territory. And boy, it'd be a toss-up if I had to choose between one and Tasmania, I should say as well. But it would be a real toss-up for me between Tasmania, South Australia, and Western Australia. I think if I were hard-pressed, I would probably choose that I would want to go to Tasmania first. Probably Tasmania first, and I'd like to see Western Australia as well. And then maybe down to the town of Adelaide. So this is your town, folks. This is Maleny here. And I probably should point out, I was reading something about some type of sculptures that you'll see hanging up on the rooftops of buildings. Probably be able to share one with you. I see one just across the road here. So they'll have these little animals that are up on the corners of these buildings. Here's one. I'm not quite sure what kind of animal it is. But let's go see if I can actually share it with you. So it's just right up there on the corner, if you can see it. I'll just pause for a moment. And there you have it. Right there. Right on the rooftop of Watson's. So I am just about down to the end of the street here in Maleny, and I glad that I stopped. It started to cloud up, and I was thinking that I might save the somebody living out of their van. I was thinking that I might actually save the town here, the walk and talk in Maleny, for another day, but actually glad that I decided to come up and do the walk and talk. I'm sure that there will be those out there that appreciate the opportunity to walk down the main street here, albeit virtually. So I'm just about to the end of the road, as the saying goes. And that is your walk and talk, folks, of Maleny, Australia. I sure hope that I'm pronouncing that right. Every now and then I'll do a video and I'll just butcher the pronunciation of the town or the building or something like that. But there you have it. There is Maleny in the hinterlands of the Sunshine Coast in beautiful Queensland, Australia. So as they say down under, they'll say, "Good day, mates. Have a great day."